that has happened. He said that Kirko was coached Daryl Sutter Kings during the 2013-2014 season. He emerged as a leading advocate on player safety and hinted that he would reveal more as a pattern going forward. The development comes after a week after former Toronto Maple Leafs coach Mike Babcock was revealed to have made Mitch Marner rank his team's work ethic, then shared the list with the team publicly. Yeah, that came out as well. And then again, guys, furthermore, Calgary Flames player Keem Alou alleged Bill Peters of racial slurs. So again, guys, here's a couple more things that are going on right now in hockey about that kind of stuff. So that's interesting. Well, let's talk about some positive things going on in the NHL right now, guys. So as we all know, there will be a new franchise entering the National Hockey League in the 2021-2022 season. In case don't know the whole situation, guys, the Seattle was awarded a franchise, so the city of Seattle will have a hockey team during to start the 2021-2022 season. Of course, there will be another draft. The only team that will be exempt from the entry draft will be, of course, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. But anyway, guys, they're trying to figure out what the nickname or what the team name will be. We have not heard of anything yet. But here's a couple of things that players have said. And General Manager Ron Francis said last week that Seattle hopes to announce its nickname in the first quarter or the first half of next year, which means we will not hear anything, guys, about the name until next season starts. That will, of course, be the 2020-2021 season. So we won't have any knowledge until then, until the first quarter. So I think we're getting close. Francis said to Primetime Sports Management Conference in Toronto. Seattle has 5 yet to reveal names on its final list, but that short list does not limit the responses from NHL players who give answers that range from topical to the traditional to the hilarious. So here we go, guys. This was kind of cool, so I kind of downloaded this article about this. Vegas Golden Knights forward Jonathan Marchessault knows what it's like to play on a team with a new nickname. Vegas's nickname was a source of a constant speculation before it was announced November 22nd, 2006, almost a full year before its first game and much debated even after it started playing. I know probably everyone's going to criticize it first like the Golden Knights, said Marchessault laughing, but I guess the bar is high for Seattle now. Marchessault said he's not sure what the name would suggest, but I'd like to see a color scheme similar to the Seattle's NFL team, which wears blue, silver, and green. I think it would be cool to have the same colors as the Seahawks, like the same blue tone, he said. Florida Panthers forward Jonathan Huberdeau went one step further and said that the new hockey team should be called the Seahawks. Nostalgia was on the mind of the Philadelphia Flyers forward Kevin Hayes and Montreal Canadiens Max Domi, who each went to NBA route by suggesting Supersonics, the name of Seattle's NBA team in '67 that moved to OKC before the 2008-2009 season. Guys, I wouldn't mind them being called the Supersonics and wearing green and gold because that would be freaking cool. Anaheim Ducks goalie John Gibson said Chicago Blackhawks forward Patrick Kane also mentioned the Seahawks as well as the Thunderbirds, the nickname of Seattle's Western Hockey League team. Minnesota Wild defenseman Matt Dumba, who played for Red Deer in the WHL, also suggested Thunderbirds, who have seen the same colors as the Seahawks. I'm a Western League guy, so I think it's cool if they took over the Thunderbirds, Dumba says, someone along that line. And like Seattle has that color scheme too, I think the Thunderbirds follow that, and it would be the cool if the NHL followed suit. Said Kane, Thunderbirds are something like the Seahawks, right? But a little different. Something to do with birds. Kane may onto something. Pigeon, said Dallas Stars forward John Klingsberg, who was sniffing laugh as he said, no, I don't know I'm good at these type of names. So he says they call them the Seattle Pigeons. Calgary Flames forward Sam Bennett went on a different direction, challenging the NFL's team in Philadelphia. Maybe the Eagles or something, he said. Some type of bird. Buffalo Sabres defenseman Rasmus Dahlin stated on the Big Four suggesting the Roosters. Other members of the animal kingdom were in the mix as well. Seattle Whales, I guess. Blackhawks forward Alex DeBont said. Stars forward Rutherford also suggested Whales. Bosca's teammate goalie Ben Bishop stayed with the nautical theme, ripping off Seattle's world-famous Pike Place Market and a signature fish tossing spectacle. Seattle Fish, something along those lines. He said, I was also thinking about the fish markets there. Edmonton Oiler forward Ryan Nugent-Hopkins went down to the Saga Trail too, citing the nickname and former NHL nickname before veering sharply into the last moment. They're a West Coast team, he said, maybe like the Seattle Whalers or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of orcas go through by Seattle. What is the building they have? The Space Needle. They would be the best. The Seattle Space Needles, maybe not the best. There's also various cultural touchstones associated with the area. St. Louis forward Brian O'Reilly went the route of music created in the city, spearheaded the bands like Nirvana and Pearl Jam in the 1990s. The Seattle grunge, he said, I think Pearl Jam has started there. All those guys, that would be cool. Nashville Predator forward Matt Duchene was in the same neighborhood with suggestion the Seattle sound. Boston goalie Tuukka Rask was inspired by either the city's reputation for year-round precipitation, or perhaps he was a big fan of a certain Dustin Hoffman Tom Cruise movie hit in 1988 called The Seattle Rain Man, he said, smiling. New Jersey forward Jasper Bratt, though he was having no part of Louis Brain 2020. Oh, Piff, that's hard. He said, I don't have a name. I don't even know how people can come up with good names. So again, guys, that was some of the funny names that they came up with for the Seattle franchise that is starting in the 2021-2022 season. Here are the NHL power rankings, guys. Again, these are before games have been played and stuff like that. So here we go. Number one, they have now this was okay. So they have the Boston Bruins number one, the Washington Capitals number two, the Pittsburgh Penguins number three, Carolina Hurricanes number four, the Islanders 5, Edmonton Oilers 6, Dallas Stars 7, St. Louis Blues 8, Philadelphia Flyers 9, Colorado Avalanche 10, Nashville Predators 11, Arizona Coyotes 12, Florida Panthers 13, Florida Panthers 13, Vancouver Canucks 14, Tampa Bay Lightning 15, Montreal Canadiens 16, the Vegas Golden Knights 17, Jets 18, Winnipeg 19 is the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Columbus Blue Jackets are 20, number 21 is the Buffalo Sabres, 22 is the Chicago Blackhawks, 23 is the San Jose Sharks, 24 is the Los Angeles Kings, 25 is the Anaheim Ducks, 26 is the New York Rangers, 27 is the Ottawa Senators, 28 is the Flames, 29 is the Minnesota Wild, 30 is the New Jersey Devils, and number 31, guys, is the Detroit Red Wings. As far as the power rankings that came out the other day, again, there's been games played since then, so those probably have changed, as well as a lot of things do when the power rankings come out. But those are the power rankings in both NHL and the NFL on Wednesday before the games have started. But I guess I've arrived at that time, guys, to talk about college football. As we all know, it's rivalry weekend. This is the last weekend of college football. We have arrived as college football fans. We've arrived at the final week before the bowl season starts. If your team has won 6 games, you're bowl eligible to go to a bowl game. If your team has not won 6 games, like my USF Bulls, we will not be going to a bowl. And the last game will be happening this evening for USF as we are in Orlando to play the UCF Knights. And if you listen to my Tampa Talk Show on Monday night, you got my opinion on that. And I am predicting another blowout like they were blown out last Saturday night by the Memphis Tigers. The good part about that was, guys, is I was at the hockey game with my nephew, and they beat the Ducks 6-2. Much more better game than being at the USF game. I feel bad. If anyone is making the trip, you're listening to this show and you're making the hike up to Orlando, the game kicks off, guys, in about 6 hours from now. I wish you the best of luck. I think it's going to be a miracle if they beat the Knights. The team is not playing very well. They're going to have to play a near perfect game to win that game. And even if they win, they're not going to a bowl game. If they lose, the questions remain, is this the final game for Charlie Strong and for Kerwin Bell? It could be the final game for both of them. Again, it will come down to if they win. If they get blown out, Michael Kelly's going to have a huge decision on his hands. Michael Kelly is the athletic director at USF. He's going to have a big, big problem on his hands moving forward. If he is to keep Charlie Strong and Kerwin Bell, because the offense has not been what it was supposed to be all season. I can venture to say that because I was at the spring game, guys, this year in April, and the offense looked great in the spring game. I mean, they looked great. They were moving the ball very well, and first game of the season, we got blown out of the water by Wisconsin, 49-0 at home in the rain and the cold. I think it was not really that cold. It was raining, but got blown out by the Badgers, and it was all downhill from there, guys. The following week, they lost Georgia Tech on a missed call by the goal line. Whatever may have happened, I'm not really too sure. I didn't get a chance to watch the full game, but if that game was a W, right now we could be talking about a bowl win. In fact, the Temple game and the Cincinnati game, both of those games, both could have been won, and we would be talking about them missing a bowl game. And this game would not matter. It doesn't really matter either way. If they lose, they'll finish the season 4-8. If they win, they'll be 5-7. Charlie Strong has not won a football game in the last 2 seasons in the month of November. He'll have to win today, or he'll go another 0-4 again this year in the month of November. So again, it will come down to him moving forward on what's going to happen, guys. But it's a sorry situation right now in Florida. Now, to moving into the SEC, guys, this was written by Zach Al-Keeb. If you guys do not know, the Missouri Tigers are facing NCAA violations and suspensions. Well, guess what? The NCAA rejected their appeal, and they have announced that they will have a postseason ban and scholarship reduction from Missouri, and it will start on January 31st. This will be banned for 3 of its sports, including football. Again, the athletic director and chancellor came out, Alex Cartwright and Jim Street, said that we are deeply disappointed in the field by the NCAA's infractions appeals committee to shrink its responsibility and simply uphold sanctions that are not consistent with percent or even common sense. So they're mad, guys. This could very much hurt the Missouri Tigers program. They, of course, have a game against the Arkansas Razorbacks. They can be bowl eligible if they win. But again, guys, they won't be going to it anyway because they have a postseason ban. So they cannot go to a bowl game anyway. So even if they win on Saturday, they cannot go to a game because they have been banned by the NCAA. So this will definitely hurt Missouri, as far as scholarship goes, not only in football, but all 2 other sports that they are being fined in. And it's disappointing that something happens like that. But anyway, guys, so now we get to talk about the games coming up this weekend. Big games: Gators, Noles, Tigers, Crimson Tide, Wolverines, Buckeyes, just to name a few. Down the list, the Apple Cup between the Huskies in Washington. You'll have that. You have the Duck Bowl, or you have Oregon. I'm sorry, not the Duck Bowl. Excuse me. You have Oregon, the Oregon State between the Beavers and the Ducks. Georgia is playing Georgia Tech. Clemson's playing South Carolina. These are the games that we all, as college football fans, wait for every weekend. And, we've got to that point now where we can talk about that. We can talk about these big games coming up. And let me go ahead and bring my boy Adam on the line because it's about that time to bring him on. Adam, what's up, bud?
Hey, guy, how we doing today? Can you hear me?
Good, buddy. How are you? How was your Thanksgiving?
I'm not too bad. Oh, it
Good.
was pretty good. It's pretty good. I made a
Good.
whole bunch of food and ate it all.